Hello.
Not testing. There is no rehearsal. Grant has been a wonderful encourager and supporter to me, and I'm really grateful. I find it very difficult to send out work, and Grant reads. I post most of my poems on Facebook, and Grant just picks ones and says, "Can I have those?" And the answer is almost always yes. And it's really encouraging. It's done a lot for me in the last year or two, so thanks. This is just I'm going to read, there are two short ones, I'm going to read one at the beginning. This is Shower in Sunshine, North Wales, based in a small bungalow that my mum lives in North Wales.
I have needs.
If you can't count rhythm, what kind of a poet are you? The summer charged local light in the place, familiar, escape from school, the holiday let, drops full, smooth, into the porch add-on, through its clear plastic roof, to startle whiter the stone jut of the cockpit window and walls. In this boost light, how can there be rain passing? I don't believe it in the course of wonder, though I hear it percuss. I gaze gormless as the sun pours. Oh, I didn't bring the plectrum. Is there a plectrum on that seat? Is there a plectrum?
Is there a plectrum in the house?
Hang on, there it is. Discovered the fifth dimension into which plectrums always disappear. No, I'm going to have to do that because otherwise I'm going to get amplified voice and quite clear. In the times of taxing the peasants and the great crusades, where nobles drove from castles to castles with the riches they hadn't made, through it all, taking on the greedy, came the wealth redistributing, rob the hoodie. When settlements far and wide rippled out in concrete, there were as many hiding places as Sherwood Forest has trees, and through it all, taking on the greedy, came the wealth redistributing, rob the hoodie. With friends in his or her merry band, the little one who was big, the hungry holy man, let a call be translated into every language. Don't be a harbour against your neighbour, to the hitting and running rich, and through it all, taking on the greedy, will come a wealth redistributing, rob the hoodie. Through it all, taking on the greedy, will come a wealth redistributing, rob the hoodie.
Woo!
I apologise for being unable to play the ukulele tonight. This is called Phone in the Roll, and harks back to the early days of 2009, 2010, when you use voice-to-text apps, the ones that dictate, and you see that, and they don't work. And therefore it's jolly fun to rant things you're really angry about and watch you completely garble them into interesting gobbledygook. The British hourglass. What is Liberal Democrat policy? Is it Liberal Democrat unity? Is there any interest in the Liberal Democrats as a connection? What is the status of Britain now? Where are the ideas in the Labour Party? The aunt is as clean
as the consensus party. Amongst the Tories, Seth is an ass and attempts to make everybody work hard to compare, to wait for that which is already set, and sends all in for a fitting by Harris on Monday. The Harrises eked money in the Harris estate. Susan lusts to be tops. Inherited is not the word. What kind of Liberal Democrat policies say that much like that is party policy? It is clear that there are whole areas of the country which call out like our blouses. Like a good time, egg the time I want, 60 minutes gloss. And so the sun is in one hall, and in the south best, and is in the alcohol and the P45. In the knolls stand tall in the south, and be sound at the post. In the north, in Newcastle, them is signing all the grain. Grains of sand from a beach by the cross, on the glass, and in the south, the grains of sand on the door off at the bottom of the class say something about the Liberal Democrats with the sense to me of a sandy beach. The seaside towns I know so well, and know groups, and knows the use. But I quite like the neck inside the 8 standard with the house to class it different ways, in different parts of the country, and you, with the hoff of the little ass in the AA's own good time, do not think you are pretty cool and interesting in British politics? And I wrote this one in the last recession. The idea is to calm a person out there in the world economy that cuts what we care for and our subsequent anger. The scarcity of the public space is the scarcity of wise management, which we don't need anyway, if not for the crises it's brought. Psychoanalysis will focus on the person needing calm and will drug the person. The cuts swell up in the guts of the body. Grant asked that I read a poem that I put on Facebook, which I was deeply unsure about, and it's very short. I tried to make it longer, and every time I tried to make it longer, it flopped. Goblet. Alabaster cylinder of waters, straw in shore updraw. Short. While I was watching telly the other day, I suddenly, without thinking, started coming up with the idea of using only 4 letters to make a poem, and those 4 letters are A, kicking K, as we say at primary school, the K, N and S. So this is a can score. And it's one of those poems I use to prove that although I was born in the south, I now live in the north, and all the vowels can't help but pronounce themselves strangely when you've got this few number of letters. Was canker sore? Wan nacken anchor. Can an ass an, canker a whack. Was askin wa, wacken a saw. Swannen an acken a sawn anchor. Asken a saw an asker. A wasker and score, wanken an ans. A canker a knaw, a swan can a whack. Anna can a knaw, a wanna ask asker. And then, yes, right. Okay. Since I haven't been playing the ukulele very well tonight, I will do a song, just the lyric, without the music. I know that everybody has a story of adventure where their feet and the ground don't touch. Well, this is mine, of my days in the sprawling city, when I got on the sorry not in service bus. The only one which went by my front door, made of iron ore which never shone. I didn't check the front for name or number. When it trundled up, I got on, and my imprisonment had begun. We drove 1,000 streets of the city, like the glued-up pieces of a torn-apart map. We followed the driver's nose, which wasn't pretty, but flat and broad like the duckbill of her cap. We didn't go to all the tourist places where the faces all have fresh paint. We went where she'd been young and sad and clever. And we never got to talk of my home again. And she didn't like to talk about trains. The passengers were timid, no conductor. Sign was saying, keep back from this line. The part of me I lost when I had cancer was screaming to me, do not waste your time. I stepped up and I said, could we leave now? We want to leave now. I must go. The driver shouted back, you cannot leave now. And you don't know what you know. It isn't worthwhile to go. I reached into my coat for the diamond I keep for the day I'll hyphenate my name. It made no sound, though everybody listened. I cut a hole in the window, jumped out, and ran away. And then 3 poems from this, from the book I Love Poetry. No, 4 poems. I'm going to do a Latin poem, and I will do the English translation first, if that's okay, just so that everybody kind of has a feeling of the meaning, and then I'll do it in the Latin afterwards, if that's all right. This is the English translation. 1, half a hundred, 1, 100, 1, 5, 1, 10, 1, 50, 5, 1, 1,000, 1 half 100, 1, 10, 1,000, 1, 150, 1, 5, 100, 1, 10, 155, 1, 10, 150. So everyone's clear on the meaning. Yes. And now here is the Latin original, the Latin version. Illi sibi vixel, vim, lix mi cliv, mixel vixel. I hope that was all clear. I have to do this one because it's, despite living in Newcastle for 13 years, I did used to live in London, and it's my London poem, which will become apparent when I find it in the bloody book. I know it's near the back, and... oh, you bastard. There it is. Anonymous love in tube stations. 'Tis true, fair Camden, that by thee I live, that every kiss and every fond edgeware forms new cross within me, and doth give a balm to the wound made by thy fair. Yet still, methinks, I shrill Mill Hill, which Leighton dare not name, and only then to me, Dollis Hill, St. James's Park doth meet unto St. James. That Finsbury, which doth bless me every date, is yet to me but Ealing, Piccadilly. Think not to please your Shadwell with Highgate, great Portland never sticks to throw at me, who can endure to shrill Mill Hill, which Leighton dare not name, and only then to me, Dollis Hill, St. James's Park doth meet unto St. James. If all Swiss Cottage in you must rise slip, Upton Park and Neasden, Tottenham Hale, northward as well I will lose her grip, and you as well as I your Perivale. We wrong ourselves to shrill Mill Hill, which Leighton dare not name, and only then to me, Dollis Hill, St. James's Park doth meet unto St. James. Osterley, which long peeps at Westminster, out of the Notting Hill gate of our eyes, shall now by love conducted meet Cockfosters, and in their Mornington Crescent Park Belsize. Then we shall not shrill Mill Hill, which Leighton dare not name, and only then to me, Dollis Hill, St. James's Park doth meet unto St. James. And then I think one more poem from the Screech Owl, and then I will thank you for your gracious attention and run away. Now, I like to hunt for plagiarism. It's one of the things I do as my sideline. When I looked at this poem in the Screech Owl, I thought, I cannot remember a word of writing this, but it has a title I would give it, because I'm quick and prolific and post and then forget about it. This is called Cue the Pits. My love, with the longing that under every pestilent mile of air away you'd bury my weak cells to integrate us through the planet, I'll cough where you dig me, from where my push was through. Knelt at the grass to unlid, and let me sever. Now I see it was to you I couldn't, nor can I, pass, until the world as such isn't forever. Thank you very much.